Hi, I'm Marshall Brown. Welcome back to Water Matters. On today's show, we're delighted to welcome Ranger Eric Powers. Eric began leading nature hikes as a park ranger in Colorado and served 2 years in the U.S. Peace Corps as an environmental education officer. Over a decade ago, Ranger Eric started his dream company, Your Connection to Nature, right here on Long Island. Eric is passionate about our environment and the animals we share it with, and I think you'll enjoy hearing what he has to tell us. Here now is Eric Powers.
Oh, great. Thanks so much, Marshall. That was a great intro. And I'm really honored to be here and talking to you all. I just had a little presentation I wanted to show you guys. And it's kind of asking, does nature need our help? And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So first off, my name is Eric Powers, and most of the kids know me as Ranger Eric. I'm a biologist, of course, an educator, going to schools all across Long Island. But I think lately I've settled more into professional wanderer. And so I love that quote, even though you may wander, you're not necessarily lost. And I just love being out in nature and just wandering about. My roots are in Colorado. That's where family is. That's where I grew up, on the eastern plains of Colorado. But I also have a second home too, and that's in the Kingdom of Tonga in the South Pacific. When I stayed there in the Peace Corps for 2 years, and it's like having a whole other life, a whole other family that's there, But I do have new roots here on Long Island now, and I just really love this place. And my family consists of a whole animal menagerie. And there's my two lovely therapy dogs right there, Gangsta and Bailey. They help me out with all my programs. And I have a whole assortment of animal ambassadors, as I like to say. Reptiles and bugs, even some birds. And I like to use these animals to help me with my message and getting the word out there about nature and ecology and what is our role as human beings, as stewards on this planet, and how we can each help. So, does nature need our help, I ask? Yes, but mostly no. We need nature more than nature needs us. And there's always that classic example, if we could just magically remove all humans from the planet, how would nature do? Just fine. But humankind is doomed without nature. So we most certainly need nature. But nature can benefit from our help as well. With proper stewardship and care, we can really have a very healthy environment and enough for everybody here. And we get so much out of nature, not just our food and our water, but also spiritual healing and things like that. I've worked with so many people that are sad or depressed or anxious, and spending time in nature, connecting with nature, is a way of healing those things. And you really see how it lights a candle inside of them. A light turns on in them, and that candle just only burns brighter with the more connection that you have, the balance that you get in your life. So my approach to connecting people is adventurous education, or adventures. And I love this one picture. This all started with this one boy who slipped on a hill and right into the mud. Even his face got mud on it. And he felt really bad. He was like, oh, my day's ruined and all that. And I was like, nope, this was the best thing that ever happened. So I'm like, we are all going to get muddy too. And so we put mud on our hands and our face, and all the kids really embraced it and got into it. And I got to tell you, that turned out to be one of the best nature hikes ever. This other picture here is taking a group of high school kids from the Shirley Mastic area that had just been devastated by Hurricane Sandy. And I took their classes out on a field trip out to the new inlet. and we studied all these different biometrics, the salinity and dissolved oxygen, and we did wildlife surveys out there and compared all this to data that had been collected in the past. And I let these kids decide afterwards. We did presentations, decide whether or not whether they would elect to seal the breach or to leave the new inlet there. And based on all the data that they collected and reflecting back on their experience with Hurricane Sandy, they voted to keep the new inlet open. And as they were presenting and talking about how their lives were changed, some of them lost almost everything. They lost their house and stuff, belongings, things like that. We even had tears in some of those presentations. But I feel that this field trip was such a healing moment for so many of these kids whose lives had been turned upside down. So nature can always be used like that as a real educator and healer. And I love reaching out to the teachers, doing professional developments. This is us we built bat houses and bird boxes, and the teachers got to go back and set up their own wildlife areas back in their schools. I've started a summer camp in the prestigious Southampton Marine Station. And what a wonderful facility that is. We have use of amazing digital equipment, digital microscopes, and temperature probes. There's so much there. There's touch tanks that we can set up. Just a wonderful environment with graduate students there. This is such a great way to career track some of these younger minds into marine science and getting them interested and seeing how these grad students are so interested in what they're doing that they want to do that as well. But there's another thing that I want to do, believe it or not, that I want to take all this to another level. And what we're going to be doing is when we open this place up, of course, we're going to be doing all the same stuff that nature centers are supposed to do, is educating kids and, having a campfire at night, things like that. And ultimately, this center is going to be a place where we can all come together to talk about real conservation issues happening today. And I know we just recently had a whale that created a lot of controversy over how it was handled. These are all issues that a think tank like our center will be able to help prevent or deal with in the future. Also, it's important to be stewards of our local waters and keeping an eye on what's going on around us, both in the Sound and the bays and the oceans. And ultimately, cooperatively to advance our environmental legacy. Let's keep this going, this wonderful trend. And we always love to collaborate with other people around the world. There's great conservation work going on all around the world, so we can learn lessons from other conservationists and apply them here to Long Island, or maybe vice versa. Maybe we've solved something that helps someone else in another place. But ultimately, working together and sharing our knowledge is going to bring us together and really create something special and worthwhile right here on Long Island.
If you get sick, your doctor may give you medicine, and you might have some left over when you get better. So what do you do with it? Here's what. Don't ever flush drugs down the drain, because we're beginning to find them in our water here on Long Island. See, whatever goes down the drain ends up in our drinking water or in our bays and streams. So jump in and help keep Long Island's water clean. Don't flush medicines down the drain. Learn more at liwater.org.
If we're going to solve our water issues on Long Island, we'll need an informed public. Jump In print materials about water issues on Long Island can be co-branded with your organization's logo and are available at no cost to local nonprofits on Long Island and for minimal cost to local agencies and water departments. To learn more, please visit our website at liwater.org or call our office for more information. Let's spread the word about Long Island's water.
Everyone wants a nice-looking lawn, and everyone wants clean water to drink and safe water for swimming, boating, and fishing. But chemical pesticides and high nitrogen fertilizers are contaminating our drinking water and contributing to fish kills and algal blooms in our bays, rivers, and streams. The good news is you can have a great-looking lawn without those harmful products. Most garden centers carry non-toxic lawn products, and many of Long Island's top landscape contractors offer natural lawn care services that make your property look great and protect our water at the same time. So, if you love Long Island, join the campaign to keep our waters clean. Go to ilovelongisland.org, take the pledge, get your lawn sign, and show your neighbors you care about the health and safety of the place we call home. ilovelongisland.org.
Hi, I'm Marshall Brown. Welcome back to Water Matters. So, Eric, that was really very moving, actually.
Wow, thank you.
I mean, I grew up on Long Island covered with leeches and ticks and mud from age 8 to 15. And I'm sure you could say the same
Absolutely.
in your youth in Colorado.
Yep. Following badgers and catching rattlesnakes and things like that as well.
Well, we have neither here, unless you brought some with you.
It's a different, yeah, actually I do, but no. But different environment here, but I find that I really do love Long Island because, frankly, of the ocean. And I was talking earlier about my second life in Tonga. Well, that's a water nation. You know, it's 172 islands at high tide. And,
a lot of people in the Navy happen to be from the middle of the country. Is that what's going on here? You're from the mountains, and you wanted the sea.
That's right. And mountains are just a few hours away, so it's all
so
good.
you got that too. But tell me about that field trip to the breach with the kids. I mean, that was
really emotional. It was great. In education, at least what I do, I never always know the outcome of what's going to happen. They could have decided to close that up, and so I really didn't know what their conclusions were going to be. So I gave them the data. We experienced it ourselves. We got to see how wonderful the bay has improved, and I think I want to say like a couple of weeks or a couple of months before that, a sea turtle had been seen in there, and I was telling the kids about that, and it just really seemed to strike a chord with them. They're like, "Wow, we've never seen a sea turtle around here, or had seals in here, or just any number of things."
Oh, the profusion of life there, the bait fish, followed by the pitter fish, and then the birds, and
it was incredible.
Yes, and I think just seeing the bay come alive there is highly instructive. And why don't we do this? Why don't we Save the Great South Bay, and whoever else wants to come along, we'll organize a nature walk to the breach. Whatever day you want to do it. Let's say in
I'd love that.
April, May, and I think for those who haven't been there, I mean, all you have to do really is to drive to Smith's Point and then walk a mile and a quarter west in the sand. But once you get there, there's really nothing like it. And when you were talking about the healing power of nature, that's where that really happens.
That's true. And so I feel like a lot of these kids had a bit of animosity, like how dare this storm come in here and ruin our lives. But after this hike, it was kind of like, wow, this is, I'm realizing now that I'm part of nature, and it's a give and take here. I get my sustenance from nature, and I live here and enjoy this beauty. But she can also have a temper tantrum too sometimes, and unfortunately her temper tantrums, wipe out neighborhoods. But
so I know you had your mentors along the way. Who would you point to who's really inspired you?
Well, honestly, David Attenborough, the filmmaker, the great filmmaker, has always been an inspiration in my life, and how his connection to nature, how well he shares his connection to nature with all of us, is always inspiring to me. And I've always wanted to be half as good as he is at sharing that with everyone, and what a real important part that really is to me. Like I literally go outside every day, no matter what. If it's blizzard or 118 degrees out, whatever, I am out there every day. I need that connection with nature. And I see so many people nowadays that don't go outside at all, and they don't feel the sprinkle of rain on their face. Everything is protected, umbrella and raincoat and all this
or
stuff.
Even kids playing on the lawns.
Playing on the lawns, right? A grass stain. I've seen kids break down in tears because they got a grass stain. And you're like, no, that's normal. Get another grass stain. Let's go.
Oh boy, I had scrapes on my knees and brambles, you name it.
Right. As a matter of fact, I think I was kneeling in mud just earlier this morning.
Oh, good for you. You mentioned Dennis Peelston. I don't know if people in the audience really know who he is.
Yeah, he's a Long Island resident, and he was one of 3 or 4 interested scientists that were, they knew there was some sort of a link between DDT and the diminishing osprey population here on Long Island, and they were finally able to make a scientific connection, but that wasn't enough. Just to put out that evidence, they had to take it yet to another level and sue local municipalities to stop using DDT, and then eventually they had to form an organization called the Environmental Defense Fund that went around essentially suing governments and petitioning people to stop using these harsh chemicals, these biomagnifying chemicals that don't really leave our ecosystem. And them doing that has single-handedly, I think, been a very important turning point for environmentalists, knowing that 3 local dudes can really make an impact around the world.
Yeah, what did Margaret Mead say famously? Never doubt the power of a small group of people to change the world. That's the only way it's ever happened.
That's right.
Right. I mean, the DDT thinning the shells on the ospreys and the bald eagles and almost wiping them out. It came that close.
Came that close.
And now you go around Long Island and they're back.
Back.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding. I've been able to erect about 2 or 3 osprey nests, and in the 1 year, I swear to God, we barely put it up, and they started building on it. It's just
incredible. And certainly the new inlet's helping there with all the bait fish that's coming in, and actually intelligent stewardship of menhaden. We're not over harvesting them anymore.
That's right.
Because we came to a decision in 2013 to cut back on the harvest in the South Atlantic. So
that's right.
So we've seen the marine mammals come back.
It really has snapped back in so many ways, but I still feel like there's still more to do.
Yeah. Maybe with your kids and with your connection to nature, you can explore this possibility. These bunker, they eat algae, right? So the question is, how much are these bunker invasions actually helping to clean our bays?
One of the easiest examples of with algae that I do with the kids, I do it every year and they just love it. But it's so simple. But we put oysters in a tank and dump a bunch of algae in it, and we get to measure it, and hour by hour you see the water just clearing, and by the end of the day it's crystal clear water, and the kids are like, where did it go?
Well, that's exactly what we want to do in all our bays, including the Great South Bay. Each oyster filters about 30 to 50 gallons of water a day.
That's right.
And it's been speculated that 5,000 acres under cultivation, this is Professor Jeff Leventon, also of Stony Brook, would be enough to address 147% of the nitrogen problem in the bay.
Nice.
Plus, every acre of farmed oysters is about $100,000 of revenue. So we're talking about bringing back a $500 million shellfish industry and cleaning the bay in the bargain.
What could be better?
Right.
See, that's real stewardship, you know. That's what I love to see, is that harmony between humans and nature, and not an us versus them, but a collaboration, for real healthy living.
Do you think it's possible? I mean, look how incredibly densely populated Long Island is. Nassau and Suffolk together would be the 4th most populated country in the world. Do you think it's possible that we could have this human density alongside or coexisting with a profusion of nature? That's the challenge. Do you think it's possible?
I do. I absolutely do think it's possible, and I have to keep that hope that it will be possible. But ultimately, I find that it's a personal decision, person by person, and that's what I was talking about, lighting that candle. Because if people don't appreciate the outdoors, if they don't experience it, then when it comes time to vote for, do we want another subdivision over here or keep that as a nature preserve or something like that, people are going to vote, keep that as a nature preserve. I hike in there, and that's where I saw that yellow-bellied sapsucker, with all the wells on that basswood tree, and things like that. So that's what I think it's important, that everyone have a chance to experience nature in a positive way, so that that they want to be part of nature like that.
Well, there's something I think that everybody can do. There's this, perhaps you've heard of the I Love Long Island campaign?
Ah, yes.
Right. Basically, it's this. People take a pledge to treat their lawn in an eco-friendly way so that the pesticides aren't there to wash into our creeks, rivers, and streams and bays. The lawn fertilizer isn't there to help to fuel these algal blooms. So we just started the program, and I was hoping that your organization would stand with us to help.
Absolutely, I would be happy to pledge my support.
What are your 3 top places to visit on Long Island in terms of open spaces and parklands?
Wow. Well, I do love Sands Point Preserve, right down the street here. Mm-hmm. That's just a real special place, and I always love that bird's eye view. Mm-hmm. And you get that there because there's these like 80-foot cliffs there, these bluffs that are there, and I just love that open feeling. It gives me that little touch of eastern Colorado. Those big open spaces, and I also have my heart in Caleb Smith State Park, mm-hmm. and right in Smithtown. Just a wonderfully diverse habitat in there. And the third place is probably when I want to get away from everyone, I head over to the Walking Dunes. Oh. Walking Dunes County Park. I love that.
I've never been there. It sounds amazing.
It's really cool. So there's actually dunes that are moving with wind movement. So it's every sand grain being dumped over the top to make it move just that millimeter.
Kind of like Fire Island itself. Fire Island is actually rolling over itself.
That's right. Yeah.
Much to the chagrin of the homeowners.
Right.
But that's how it goes.
But I got to say though, a close second. I've done so many trips now out to the new inlet, mm-hmm. that I'm really starting to fall in love with Fire Island itself out there.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, the new inlet arguably is one of the most beautiful places. Not only on Long Island, but in New York. Mm. I mean, it was already National Park Service's land, and to have this miracle happen.
That's right. And I'm so lucky too to be able to work with Bellport, because I'm assuming the timing is right and all that. They're allowing I can hire their ferry to take us over to Ho-Hum, nice. And then I can walk the students up to the inlet that way. And I got to say, it's a completely different experience than coming from the other direction. Mm-hmm. Because the other direction, you'll see cars on the beach and dog walkers and mm-hmm. Beach goers, things like that. But the other way, you are on a different planet. It's like no one else exists out there. Mm-hmm. It's really
I know
just
exactly
a
what you're talking about. Mm. I'll make that trip with you. That'll do. Yeah, really looking forward to that.
Nice.
And I love what you do with the other environmental educators on Long Island. There's the Marine Educators group.
Marine Educators, yep. That's a real special group of, educators and activists that really are working to educate about the marine around here.
Find them on Facebook.
Yep, find them on Facebook.
Then there's the statewide organization.
And it's the New York State Outdoor Education Association, mm-hmm. or NYSOIA.org, and that's also a great group of educators that are really just passionate and dedicated about what they're teaching about all across New York State.
I'm just so blown away by the diversity of things that you do, and congratulations on the new environmental center that's opening up.
Yes.
If you could just talk a little bit
Yeah, I want everyone to be a part of this. There's going to be something in there for everybody. Kids, teens, adults, seniors.
And what's the name of the center?
It's the Center for Environmental Education and Discovery, and we're using the acronym CEED.
Mm-hmm.
And because like that light that I was talking about, that light that you light in each person, is also a similar analogy than planting a seed in people and watching that seed grow into their own relationship with nature.
It'll be another year yet before you're fully operational, and
That's right.
we're eager to help you.
Yeah, thanks. I look forward to us all working together, and maybe you guys are going to come and do a retreat there.
I think it's kind of necessary. I think it's important to reconnect to nature, and I'm eager to have you show us the way.
Great, thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. This was wonderful.
This is a real honor. Thank you.
That's going to do it for this edition of Water Matters. Thanks to my guest, Eric Powers, and to all of you who tune in to watch the show, because here on Long Island, water matters.